A 24-year run produced the last modern dynasty in American sport. And Belichick exits stage left with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 Lombardi trophies and a country-mile-long list of records and scandal. A lot of drama. Why did it take all week if you wanted to get rid of Belichick? Why not just announce it on Monday? Why'd you wait till Thursday? What was that all about? But they had a joint news conference at noon, I believe it was at noon in Boston. Bill Belichick and the owner there, Robert Kraft, standing side by side in unison. They announced that the two sides had mutually and amicably agreed to part ways. Upon announcing the divorce, Belichick told the assembled media that he will, quote, always be a Patriot. But he will not be working for the Patriots, at least not if he gets another job in the NFL. So let us discuss the question. Bill Belichick saying that this was a, quote, mutual decision to leave Robert Kraft and the Patriots. Can you unravel that, what that really means? Bill Belichick saying that it was a mutual decision to leave Robert Kraft. Can you unravel what that really means? So I've got Rosetta Stone, Civic Duty, and Terminator. And we will tie all of these things together, and we are going to make a great garage sale of like hoodies and Patriot T-shirts and worn-out hats and all the crap that Belichick has worn for the last almost 25 years in New England. So, before we get into this, we actually have the audio that I was talking about. So here is Bill Belichick, and this is what we're going to break down here. Bill Belichick, again, saying that this was a mutual situation, but not mutual of Omaha. This was just a mutual situation. So take a listen. Let's go to the audio tape.
Robert and I, after a series of discussions, have mutually agreed to part ways. For me, this is a day of gratitude and celebration.
All right, gratitude and celebration. So that's the big soundbite there. And what do we think about this? Can you unravel what this really means? So the news conference, and I watched it. It was like a Broadway show. It was choreographed for your consumption and my consumption. And I get it. I'm not naive to this. We know this is the big business, the industrial complex of sport. It's a high-stakes game, and you have to thread a needle. Legends in sports, you're supposed to treat them royally and regally. And in terms of the question about mutual agreement, mutual decision, what that means, I always turn on these things to the MALLER Rosetta Stone. The MALLER Rosetta Stone is never wrong. It can translate all languages, even sports jock speak. So I looked at the MALLER Rosetta Stone, and this is code, according to the Rosetta Stone, for saving face. Ergo, Belichick wanted to have the status quo in New England. The fact that Belichick came out and announced publicly on Monday that he was willing to concede that he would no longer be the general manager of the Patriots, that was a move to put the pressure on Robert Kraft. Like, hey, I'm willing to stay. I'm a great coach. Maybe I suck at picking players, but I'm a good coach, and I should be able to stay. But here's the main problem I have with this. And maybe you can help me. I can't wrap my head around any scenario where these things are a mutual decision. To me, in my world, there is no such thing as a mutual decision. And you take a couple steps back. People end relationships, whether it's a personal relationship, a romantic relationship, a business relationship, people end relationships because one of the parties does not want to be with or work with the other person. Never in the history of humankind have two people walked into a meeting room, put their key cards down on the table, looked at each other, and said in unison, "We have to break up now." And that's not what happened here. And I think most people realize that. It's bullpucky, as Jay Scoop would say. Now, my theory on this, after a seconds-long investigation, Robert Kraft said, hey, it's time to move on. We got to get rid of you, Bill. And Belichick, he went along with it to save face. What choice does he have, right? He's got to play the game, right? He played the game. Now, Patriots. The czar of the Patriots, a man who knows a good massage, Robert Kraft, the New England Patriots, man that was saved by the fruit of the poisonous tree. Robert Kraft was asked about dealing Belichick, trading him away, and the possibility of doing that. Why not? Belichick was traded from the Jets to the Patriots. We saw John Gruden traded in a previous era of the NFL not that long ago. So Sean Payton, I believe, was actually traded more recently from the Saints to the Broncos. So why not? Belichick wants to work again. There's bound to be one team at least that is willing to hire him. So when asked that, Robert Kraft said, quote, I didn't think it was right for Tom Brady, who gave us 20 years, and I don't think it's right for Bill. Kraft jabbering to the assembled cameras. So he says that these guys earned the right to do what they want to do, and he wanted to do right for them. So the question for the honorable panel, should the Patriot fans be upset with Robert Kraft for not trading Bill Belichick? And the answer is slightly. The answer is slightly. This is not personal. It's not personal. You're running a business. Robert Kraft, I would argue, has a civic duty as the custodian of the Patriot franchise to look out for the health of the team. And just between me, you, and a payphone, which used to exist back in the day, New England, I don't know if you know this, they're back to being the Patsies. They're back to Patsy status. They might as well bring back Pat Patriot and get rid of the Flying Elvis and put Pat Patriot, the greatest logo in football, on the side of their helmet again. They are devoid of talent. They do not have playmakers. This is a all-hands-on-deck situation. So Belichick has a bit of value, and yet you didn't even consider it. You didn't even consider it. You're telling me you couldn't get a fifth-round pick, conditional fifth-round pick for Bill Belichick, and that maybe turns into an offensive tackle or a guard or somebody that you can play as a starter? At least in your top part of your roster, it's malfeasance. All right, last word. So where is the perfect fit for Bill Belichick? Will he work again in the NFL? Inquiring minds would like to know. It's a developing story. So when you look out at the map, the geography of the NFL, the Serengeti of football, and you look around there, at this point, you can eliminate certain teams because it just doesn't look like a good fit. You eliminate the Chargers. Belichick's not an L.A. guy. And the Chargers don't want to pay coaches big money. That's a starter job. The Chargers are always a starter job. Vegas I could see, but even that. Vegas puts people who don't belong in Vegas as headliners all the time because it's Vegas, but I don't see that. I always look at the I-95 corridor. That's where it's at. That's Belichick territory. Now, Washington, allegedly, is not interested, which makes sense because they're going to hire a basketball coach. I think Steve Kerr's got a pretty good chance if Bob Myers does the hiring there for the Washington football team. So they're out. And then you're like, okay, well, Tennessee, but that looks like a starter job. That doesn't seem like that makes a lot of sense there, that they would be interested in that. You keep moving around. And so I'm going to go with the Big Peach, the ATL, the Dirty South, Bill Belichick. Now, he was born in the South, although born in Nashville. And he can go to the Falcons. Arthur Blank is so horny to win, right? He's so tired of people making Home Depot jokes that he would be willing to give Belichick final edit, final cut. And Belichick can be like the Terminator and say, I'll be back, right? Bring the band back together. In the little cartoon bubble over my head, I see in the cartoon bubble Bill Belichick having lunch at Chick-fil-A with Josh McDaniels, saying, hey, Josh, how would you like to run my offense? And then he could call up Brian Flores, who's suing the NFL from the Vikings, and say, I'm going to make you the associate head coach, Brian. I'll have a Coca-Cola with you here in Atlanta. You want to come down and hang out with us? Sure, why not? And then head over for some grits in Buckhead and bring in Jimmy Garoppolo and say, hey, Jimmy, I'm going to get you, we'll acquire you, we'll get you from the Raiders here. We'll trade like a 7th-round pick or something if we have to. The Raiders don't just release you. And we'll bring you to the fold here. You can be my quarterback. And it's like the Peaches and Herb song, reunited, and it feels so good. reunited, and it feels so good. Bring the band back together. Bring the band back together. Recreate the magic. Sans Tom Brady in Atlanta.